So when we try to pinpoint areas that are going to be up and coming in real estate, maybe over the next 5-10 years, they're going to show a decent amount of appreciation. There's about 6 different things that we analyze or look at as either real estate agents or investors. And we're going to review those things and then figure out really where we're expecting not just growth, but where these hotspot places are going to be. So we're going to take a look at these 6 different elements that I like to look at, and then I'm going to share my personal opinion of areas that I think will be up and coming both in the West and the East Valley. So one of the big and first things that we look at is transportation, or really ease of transportation. And Phoenix, our main mode of transportation really is by vehicle. So having access, close access to a freeway that's going to get you to either Central Phoenix easily or the airport easily, that's a huge thing. So when we're looking for up and coming areas, we're looking at, where are the future plans for transportation or improved freeway access or just improved road systems. So we currently do have a transportation bill that will hopefully fund the State Route 30. And this will help relieve a lot of congestion on the I-10. And this is going to be on the west side of the Phoenix Valley. I think for the most part, a lot of us would agree this would definitely be beneficial. So we shall stay tuned and see what happens with State Route 30. But there's also a lot of plans actually throughout the Valley area for arterial improvements. So these arterial improvements are anything that's really going to help diminish congestion and really help the flow of traffic. So, think of like widening roads or helping traffic signals, those sort of things. Now, the second thing that we really want to look at is where are the new jobs coming in the Phoenix metro area? This actually highlights where the most concentrated areas of employers are. And in order to be included into this map, you have to be an employer with at least 5 employees. And then it fades down to the green area, which is slightly less. So we can see up here, like in the North Phoenix area, of course, this is a lot to do with the semiconductor plants up this way. And then of course, like North Scottsdale area, Phoenix, pretty concentrated right there. And then down here by Chandler, this is certainly related to more semiconductors and Intel as well. But we still see quite a bit over here in the Eastmark, Queen Creek area. And then of course on the west side too, we're seeing more and more business centers and more growth that way. Now, the third thing that we look at when trying to determine up and coming areas is income, and particularly where are the high income households moving to in the Valley area. So on this map right here, the darker blue, that indicates about $150,000 over for household income, and then it progresses down to lighter shades of blue and then green. So of course, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, the North Scottsdale area, those areas have been high income households for quite some time. But we are seeing particularly, South Chandler, Queen Creek, more and more high income areas come that way. And then kind of a surprising area, maybe to some, is the Laveen area, or the area right above South Mountain. So the fourth thing that we look at is actually access to open space. People need good quality of life. They need to get outside. So that's something we really see that correlates with areas that are up and coming. So when you think about like access to hiking, maybe it's South Mountain or even the Superstition Spring Mountains. And when we're talking about open space, we can be referencing even like a preserve, nature preserve, a park, maybe a green space, or hiking trails, that sort of thing. So the fifth major thing is access to a major airport. Now, we do have several airports, smaller airports in the Phoenix metro area, but what we're really talking about is being easily accessible to Sky Harbor. And this kind of ties in with the first box that we were talking about, transportation, because if you have easier access to freeway or just general transportation, it's gonna be a lot easier for you to quickly get to the airport. The sixth factor is shopping and dining. So access to shopping and dining plays such a huge role in quality of life, and people don't wanna have to travel really far to go out to eat or to do their shopping. So something I like to do is try to figure out where the new restaurants or coffee shops are coming to in the Phoenix metro area. And this also applies to your grocery stores and your coffee shops. So we do have a couple local chain or restaurateurs in the area, and they're putting in a lot of money to figure out what pockets of the Phoenix metro area are going to be the most profitable for them. And a lot of those areas typically do have slightly higher household incomes as well. So they're paying all the money money, they're doing all the research, we might as well kind of tap into that and figure out where they're gonna be putting their businesses. And also, if you guys are finding any of this helpful, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button or sharing this video, helps me out a lot. Okay, so we talked about all the different boxes that we like to check. So where are the communities in the Phoenix metro area that are actually checking these boxes? Now, something to keep in mind, I have to disclaim this, I don't have a crystal ball. We never truly know exactly where the next up and coming area is, but these are based on past trends that we have seen, really highly likely that they're gonna be up and coming. So the first place we're gonna talk about is actually on the west side, and this is Laveen. And this is something our senior housing analyst, Tina Tambor, has brought up several times, and a few other experts in the area have also highlighted this area. We were already seeing a lot of high income households move to this area, some nicer homes, but the reason why we think it's gonna continue to grow and really become a hotspot, if they build State Route 30, that's gonna allow way better access to Central Phoenix and of course the airport. Freeway access will just be so much more accessible. The other thing is you're backed up right against South Mountain, so there's not a ton of room for more growth on the east side or the south side. And you have access to one of the best open space areas in the Phoenix metro area. It's really easy to go there if you're into hiking or mountain biking, or maybe just want to catch a sunset. I mean, this is a fantastic place. Now on the East Valley, and this is the area that I primarily serve, there are 3 spots that I'm really keeping my eye on. And none of these spots I would say are secrets. I really do believe they check all the boxes that show that we're gonna have continual growth and continual competition or appreciation. So the first area is actually in Chandler, and it's right on the east side of the 101, a couple of these blocks right here that you can see on the map. Now, I know some of you that are from here, you're like, Chandler's already a really hot spot. Everyone knows this already. It's a really competitive market. And yes, that is true, but we're actually seeing currently a lot more of the high income earners actually in more of that south part of Chandler, not this very north part here. But the reason why I'm highlighting this area, and I think it's gonna be a super hot spot, is a lot of these neighborhoods, a little bit older, more simple starter type homes, maybe like 2,000 square feet, built in the 1970s. And there are no HOA neighborhoods, a lot of these right here on this map. And because there were no HOA for a while, they were looking pretty run down. You saw a lot of cars parked in the streets. Maybe the houses weren't as upkept. But in the past few years, we've seen more and more investors and homeowners actually come into this area and renovate the homes and make them look really pretty. So we're seeing more and more pockets in this area just look a lot prettier, a lot more welcoming. And as a result of that, we're seeing more young professionals, business professionals, and families move into this area. And you have to keep in mind, you're right on the 101. And yes, this market is really competitive, but I really do believe all the boxes are checking to see a lot of appreciation. The other thing too is you're not that far from downtown Chandler. You're actually very close to downtown Chandler. You're maybe 15 minutes away from downtown Gilbert. This is the part of Chandler that's going to be the closest getting to the airport or Central Phoenix. Now, the second area in the East Valley I want to highlight is the surrounding area around Downtown Mesa. So this area, I mean, it checks really all the boxes. The transportation, you're pretty darn close to Sky Harbor Airport. You're actually the light rail. This is the farthest out that it goes in the Phoenix metro area. So you have easy access to get to, ASU or the airport or Central Phoenix. And then also within about a 15-minute drive, 20 minutes tops, you have a ton or a plethora of outdoor activities. I mean, you can if you decide you want to go to Scottsdale, do Camelback, you can do that. You can head to the Superstition Springs area or Las Dutchman State Park or even South Mountain. All of those places are only about like 15 to 20 minutes away. But one of the big reasons I really think this area is probably gonna blow up and get quite a bit more expensive is because when I was talking about, how the restaurateurs, they do all their research to figure out where to put their restaurants. This is an area that we see a lot of restaurants planning to open in 2024. So a lot of restaurants that we saw in like downtown Chandler or downtown Gilbert, they're now opening up new restaurants within the downtown Mesa area. We are seeing more development, more commercial development as far as like apartment complexes here. We're also seeing homes being flipped as well. What I do think we'll will see is more people are going to be doing like house hacking or investing strategies. So they might have a casita and they're renting out their casita as an Airbnb. And if you aren't familiar with pad split, that's another investing strategy that is becoming somewhat popular. I wouldn't say popular, but it's being more discussed in the Phoenix metro area. I really see a lot of investors coming and doing that in this area. And this is mainly because it's more affordable than other areas in the Phoenix metro area, and you have access to light rail, and the fact that there's a lot of new restaurants and things to do coming in this area. But the last city that I really believe is going to be an up and coming area, and some people think I'm crazy, but when you look at the data, when you look at the numbers, it makes a lot of sense. And this is Apache Junction. Now, when I'm talking about Apache Junction, I'm talking about the south side below the 60, right next to Eastmark. Okay, so let me explain. First off, you're right next to Lost Dutchman. In my opinion, this is one of the most beautiful areas of the Phoenix greater area. Also, the homes that are being built here, they're somewhat affordable or more affordable than a lot of other areas in the East Valley, but you're still on the 60, so it's gonna be much easier to get to the airport than areas like Santan or Queen Creek even. There are huge plans for development in this area as well. You can look on this map right here and see over in this area right here, that's Apache Junction, and that's where we have approved zoning. So we're gonna see a lot of growth in this area. And even though we aren't seeing currently a lot of high income households, that's just because primarily there aren't a lot of homes in this section of Apache Junction. But when you look at the surrounding areas like Eastmark, you do see a lot of high household income. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this go up over the next handful of years. And lastly, there's a good amount of jobs available when you look at this map directly south of Apache Junction. And if you want to learn more about Apache Junction, I do have this video right here. Check it out. And if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, it helps me a lot. Have a great day.